Zuri, a young orphan with nothing but hope in her heart, thought she found a lifeline when she became a maid for a wealthy family. But betrayal and injustice awaited her, leading to a dramatic twist of fate that would thrust her into a life of unimaginable dreams and secrets she never thought existed. Little did she know, being thrown out was just the beginning of a story that would change her destiny forever. Once upon a time, there lived a young maid named Zuri, who worked tirelessly in the mansion of a wealthy family. Zuri was an orphan, and her employers never let her forget her lowly status. They constantly reminded her that, without them, she'd have nothing. "You should be grateful we even took you in. Orphans like you don't get many chances in life," they'd say. Whenever she made a mistake, they'd add, "Don't forget your place, Zuri. You're just the help, nothing more." Even on her best days, they'd dismiss her efforts with, "You should work harder. After all, we gave you a roof over your head." Their words weighed heavily on her, making her question her own worth. Despite her humble background, she was known for her kindness and beauty, which drew admiration and envy. One fateful day, the wealthy matriarch accused Zuri of stealing a precious family heirloom, a gold necklace adorned with emeralds. The matriarch's voice was sharp with anger as she glared at Zuri. "How dare you steal from me after everything we've done for you? I trusted you, and this is how you repay me? That necklace is worth more than you'll ever earn. Get out of my house, you ungrateful thief." Zuri fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face as she pleaded, her voice trembling with desperation. "I swear, on everything I hold dear, I didn't take it. I've never stolen anything in my life," she cried. "Please believe me, madam. I've worked here for years without fault. Why would I betray you now? There must be some mistake. Maybe someone moved the necklace, or it's been misplaced. Why would I risk everything I've worked for?" Her voice broke. "I have nothing, but I still have my honesty. Please, don't take that from me too." But her words fell on deaf ears. Heartbroken and destitute, Zuri wandered the dusty roads of the village, unsure of where to go. As the sun set, she passed villagers who often spoke in hushed tones about the forest, their warnings heavy with fear. "That place is cursed. Those who enter never return," they would say. Strange lights and eerie whispers were said to emerge from the woods at night, and many claimed to hear voices warning them to stay away. Legends told of an ancient guardian, once human, now cursed to protect the forest, punishing trespassers with its wrath. "The deeper you go, the colder it gets," they whispered, "and the shadows seem alive, ready to trap you." Even the animals avoided the forest, a sign of its danger. But with nowhere else to go, Zuri decided to enter. The forest was eerily quiet save for the rustling leaves. As she walked, she felt as though unseen eyes were watching her. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed, "Why do you tread on sacred ground?" Startled, Zuri looked around but saw no one. Summoning her courage, she replied, "I mean no harm. I have been unjustly cast out and seek shelter." The voice fell silent, and the air seemed to grow lighter. Zuri continued her journey until she stumbled upon a small clearing with an abandoned hut. Exhausted, she decided to rest there for the night. The next morning, Zuri was awakened by the sound of horses. Peeking through a crack in the wall, she saw a grand caravan passing through the forest. At its center was a man riding a black stallion, dressed in fine silk robes. His piercing gaze scanned the forest, as if searching for something, or someone. Moments later, the man dismounted and approached the hut. Before Zuri could hide, he called out, "I know you're in there. Come out!" Trembling, Zuri stepped outside. The man stepped forward, his gaze sharp yet kind. "I'm Jahi, a traveling merchant," he said with a faint smile, his tone calm but cautious. My father is a wealthy man, though he keeps to himself. And you? What brings you to a place like this?" His eyes seemed to study her carefully, as if trying to unravel her story. "You don't look like you belong here," he continued, his voice tinged with curiosity. "I've met many people on my travels. Some honest, others not. Should I trust you? What's your story, stranger?" His words hung in the air, inviting her to speak. Zuri hesitated for a moment before speaking, her voice soft but steady. "I worked as a maid for a wealthy family, but they cast me out. I've lost everything. My home, my belongings, even my sense of direction. Now, I'm just wandering, hoping to find a place where I can start over." She glanced down, her fingers nervously fidgeting. "Life hasn't been kind, but I'm trying to hold on to hope. People like me don't have many options, but I'm still here, still moving forward. That has to count for something, right?" Jahi nodded thoughtfully as Zuri finished her story, his voice warm yet firm. "You've been through a lot, but you don't have to face it alone," he said. "There's a town not far from here where you can find shelter, and maybe start fresh. Let me take you there. It's safer than wandering out here by yourself." He paused, studying her weary expression. "You're stronger than you realize, Zuri. Not everyone would still be standing after what you've endured. Let me help you at least this once. The road ahead doesn't have to be walked alone." His offer carried genuine care. Zuri hesitated but nodded. "Thank you, Jahi. I truly appreciate your kindness," she said softly. "I hope I'm not causing you any trouble, but I'll accept your offer." As they travelled, Zuri noticed that Jahi's guards were unusually quiet, their eyes filled with suspicion. She overheard them whispering about a missing heir and a family curse. Though Jahi treated her kindly, Zuri couldn't shake the feeling that he was hiding something. As they arrived at the grand estate, Jahi turned to Zuri with a warm but serious expression. "This is my home," he said. "I know life hasn't been kind to you, but maybe this can be a fresh start. I see potential in you, Zuri. If you're willing, I can offer you a job as a caretaker here. It's honest work, and it will give you stability, a chance to rebuild your life." His voice softened. "I believe in second chances, and I think you deserve one. The decision is yours, but I hope you'll accept this opportunity." One evening, while cleaning Jahi's study, Zuri discovered a locked drawer. Curiosity got the better of her, and she managed to open it. Inside, she found a golden necklace with emeralds, the very one she had been accused of stealing. Shocked and confused, she went to Jahi, her hands trembling as she held the golden necklace, her heart pounding with disbelief. She sought him out, her voice wavering but firm. "Jahi, I need answers," she said, holding up the necklace. "This is the very necklace I was accused of stealing, the reason I was thrown out and lost everything. How did it end up here in your home? I trusted you, but now I'm confused and afraid. Please, tell me the truth. Did you know about this all along? I deserve to know what's going on." Her eyes searched his face, desperate for an honest explanation. Jahi smiled faintly, his expression a mix of relief and regret. "So, you found it," he said, his voice calm yet tinged with emotion. "That necklace has a long history. It was stolen from my family years ago, during a robbery, and I've been searching for it ever since. It's a family heirloom, deeply sentimental, but I never imagined it would cause so much pain or bring us to this moment. I'm sorry for the turmoil it's brought into your life, Zuri. You've been through so much because of it, and I owe you the truth. Let me explain everything." "But why was I accused of stealing it?" Zuri asked. Jahi sighed deeply, his expression somber as he began to explain. "Zuri, there's something you need to know," he said quietly. "My family and the matriarch were once fierce business rivals. She despised us and would stop at nothing to tarnish our name. That necklace wasn't just stolen. It was part of her plan to frame someone in my household, to ruin my family's reputation. When you came to work for her, she saw an opportunity. You were vulnerable, and she used you as a scapegoat to cover her own deceit. You were never guilty, Zuri. You were simply a pawn in her bitter vendetta. I'm deeply sorry for what you've endured because of this feud. Then why did you help me? Zuri asked, her voice trembling. Jahi's gaze softened. Because I saw the truth in your eyes the moment I met you. You reminded me of someone I lost, a sister who was as kind and brave as you. As Jahi and Zuri grew closer, rumors began to spread. Months passed, Jahi and Zuri grew closer. The whispers began to spread like wildfire, fueled by suspicion and envy. Have you noticed how close Zuri has gotten to Jahi? Some said. She must be after his wealth. What else would she want from him? Others were more cutting. A girl like her, coming from nothing, suddenly living in his lavish estate? It's obvious she's a gold digger. Some went even further, suggesting darker motives. Mark my words, she's a spy sent by his enemies to bring him down. Jahi should be careful. She could betray him. The rumours grew louder, each tale more dramatic than the last. It's not love. She's using him to secure her future. People like her always have hidden agendas. Zuri looked at Jahi, her voice trembling. Jahi, I've heard the rumours. They say I'm a gold digger or a spy, but none of it is true. Please tell me you trust me despite their lies. Jahi's expression was firm as he addressed Zuri. Let them gossip, Zuri. Their words don't matter to me, he said, his voice steady. What matters is proving your innocence and clearing your name. I know who you truly are, and I refuse to let lies and rumours sway me. The matriarch has caused enough harm, and it's time her deceit is brought into the light. Together, we'll expose her lies and ensure the truth prevails. You've suffered too much because of her schemes, and I won't rest until we set things right. His determination brought Zuri a glimmer of hope. One fateful evening, at a grand banquet hosted by the matriarch, Jahi stood tall in the centre of the lavish hall, the golden necklace glinting in his hand as the room fell silent. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, his voice steady but commanding, this necklace was stolen from my family years ago, a treasured heirloom taken in an act of betrayal. But the theft itself was only part of the crime. The one who orchestrated it used this very necklace to frame an innocent woman, Zuri, tarnishing both her name and mine. He turned his piercing gaze toward the matriarch. The perpetrator is none other than our esteemed hostess. She not only stole from my family, but used her deceit to destroy lives. Tonight, I demand the truth. Matriarch, will you deny your guilt in front of everyone here? The crowd gasped, stunned by his revelation. The matriarch's face turned pale as the weight of the accusations bore down on her. She looked around the silent room, her voice trembling as she finally spoke. It's true, she admitted, her words barely audible at first. I stole the necklace. I hated Jahi's family and wanted to ruin them. Framing Zuri was a convenient way to cover my tracks. She was innocent, but I let her take the blame for my greed and pride. Tears welled in her eyes as she continued. I'm sorry for what I've done. The crowd gasped, stunned by her confession, as Zuri's name was finally cleared. Months passed, and Zuri decided it was time to leave and start her new life. Jahi, I don't know what to say, she began. Her voice trembled with emotion. After everything that's happened, I never expected this. You've already done so much for me, and now it's time to say goodbye. But Jahi interrupted her gently. Stay, he said, not as a caretaker, but as my wife. I've loved you from the moment I met you. I've fallen deeply in love with you, Zuri. Zuri hesitated, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. "Why me?" she asked softly. Jahi smiled warmly. "Because you've shown me that kindness and courage are more valuable than wealth. You've changed my life, and I don't want to lose that again." Zuri looked at Jahi, her heart full of emotion. "Jahi," she began softly, "I've thought about everything, about my past, the kindness you've shown me, and the life we could build together. I never imagined this would be my story, but you've given me hope when I thought I had none. With you, I see a future worth embracing, a chance to truly start over. Your patience and faith in me have meant more than words can say. If you're sure about this, if you truly believe in us, then my answer is yes, I'll marry you." Her eyes shone with quiet joy, and they were married in a grand ceremony. Though their journey had been fraught with suspicion and mystery, their love proved strong enough to overcome it all. Moral of the story: even when the world doubts you, the truth has a way of finding its light. Trust in your integrity, and it will lead you to a path of redemption and love.